And hello, everybody. Welcome back. This is our special draft day episode. I will own this one. I have really unplugged from the NFL since the Super Bowl. Last year's Vikings season, last season, I guess, there's a famous tweet, and I'm forgetting who it's by, but it's something to the effect of, why would you watch playoff hockey when you could just snort cocaine and jump a motorcycle out of a helicopter? The point being, hockey is very exciting. That's what the Vikings season was, though. It was a whole lot of heart palpitation-inducing moments strung together over 18 weeks. 19, I guess, if you count the playoffs. And it was a lot of fun because everybody thought after Kwesi and KOC came in as the head coaches last year, they were going to blow everything up. They didn't. They really kept things largely together last year. And now it seems like this is the season for blowing things up. But I have not been keeping up with a lot of the off-season moves. I've been withdrawn a little bit. I have been honed in on the XFL, where my Houston Roughnecks are charging into the postseason. So hopefully that goes well. I'm going to not go on for too long because I need to get this edited and uploaded by this evening, now that I've run out of time. So no fancy intro, but it is a lot of fun to have Corey on for just about any reason. If you're here for in-depth analysis on each player to be picked in the first round and projections on trades and everything that's going to happen, you're probably in the wrong place. But if you want to hear two people talk about where their teams are at this point in the offseason and things we might want to see them do, you're in the right place. All right, enjoy. Skull feeleth there. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been, I don't even know how long, years since we've been inside in person, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like since probably 2020-ish. He's back to tell us everything that we need to know about everything. Rounds 1 through 7, where everyone's going. Ladies and gentlemen, Corey Krenz, welcome back.
Thanks, buddy.
I am counting on Corey to carry me specifically through this episode. I have done next to no research. There were times in the past when I probably could have rattled off 20 of the first round picks, or 20 of who is projected to go in the first round, maybe. You know, there's always some surprises, but I have next to no idea. I've heard the name C.J. Stroud and also Hendon Hooker. Those are two names that I've heard. But before we get to all that, Corey, it has been so long. I am bringing back an old favorite to share with you today. It is the Clown Shoes Pecan Pie Porter. Make sure I twist it the right way. There we go. Okay. Clown Shoes was one of the, I believe it was a chocolate oatmeal stout that I had years ago, maybe even the first year of this show, and it was awesome. So a pecan pie porter, a porter with bourbon, vanilla, pecan pie flavors, and natural flavors. It's sweet, toasty, 8% alcohol by volume, and maybe I should hold it closer to the. Okay, so you got to see that for what I'm about to tell you. Genghis Pecan rules with an iron fist. He conquers all that he surveys, but he's also a strategic genius. Having won our humble pie eating contest for the better part of the last decade, he's upped his game and is taking his talents to the intergalactic level. We're going next level this time, around 2, by tweaking the recipe of this robust American porter with an addition of bourbon vanilla pecan pie flavor. Skull feeleth there.
Go back, go.
Oh boy. It pours like chocolate milk. Oh yeah. It's back. Oh, you get it all to fit? Mm-hmm. Poured mine too fast. Cheers. Whoa. Yeah. Trying to think.
After like one sip, then you get like the coffee flavor, kind of like.
That coffee bitterness, but it's not that, sometimes with the bitterness you get that real kind of tongue, nutty. Maybe that's the way I would describe it. It's not quite the smooth butteriness of pecans that I would expect, but it definitely is nutty in flavor. complex. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Not too sweet. I think that's the thing. It's not a lot of those very dessert-heavy sounding beers wind up being a little sweet on the tongue. Thank you very much, Clown Shoes Brewing. Always a pleasure. I try to find them when I can, but they make a lot of IPAs, so I stick to this side of the IBU scale. I don't know much about the draft, but I kind of thought it would be good to do a quick sum up of where each of our teams are. And like I thought I would start with mine. We're in a weird spot, right? We've got
23rd.
Oh, I mean in the draft, yeah.
Yeah.
But so last year the Vikings got a new head coach and a new GM with not a ton of fanfare. I mean, like, people were keeping an eye on it, but it wasn't like some huge... People kind of knew it was time for a change. It happened. Everyone expected then last year what they would do is clean house, start the rebuild, get rolling. They didn't, and the Vikings had possibly the flukiest, but also one of the most entertaining and stressful football seasons known to man. We didn't get to the promised land, and this year the Vikings have gone for the full rebuild. Longtime Viking, lifelong Viking, Adam Thielen is gone. Linebacker Eric Kendricks is gone. Zadarius Smith wants to go somewhere else.
Of course he does.
Patrick Peterson is gone.
Yep. Pittsburgh, too.
There's a lot of talk that by the end of the draft, Dalvin Cook could be traded, or, in the offseason he could be traded. You don't think so?
I think he'll come back on a cheaper deal.
Oh.
Because how old is he now? 29?
28
30?
or 29, yeah.
That's old for an NFL running back these days. So I think they'll bring him back on a cheaper deal. Because I don't think running back in the NFL is kind of forgotten.
It's been it's like depreciated, I think. Is people just assume you can plug and play a running back, and they try to do it by committee more now, which kind of makes sense because they take a beating, and he's had his shoulder issues. I would love it if he came back, but I guess I'm guarded in my optimism. So yeah, really, it's one of the and Kirk Cousins is on the last year of his deal now, right?
Pretty much.
Because
unless something happens on Thursday where there's so many scenarios that Florio, Glazer, Shefty are all saying, like San Fran. There K-fans saying, that they might make a trade for Trey Lance.
Oh, straight up.
I don't think that's a good idea. Because what has Trey Lance done? Nothing.
Yeah, it's always a concern when a team is willing to cut ties that clean, that quickly. It's always tough to predict what happens in the draft anyway, because there's always, I'm trying to think of the last couple of years, Trey Lance going second or third overall, whatever it was.
Third.
Totally turned the top 10 picks upside down. Someone will drop out of the top 10 and wound up, Malik Willis last year, I think, was he was supposed to be a late first, and he wound up going in the third?
I think third.
Third or fourth. So it's already hard enough to predict, and then when you look at the Vikings roster, they've got all kinds of holes to fill, all kinds of questions to answer, secondary, defensive line, quarterback, running back, wide receiver. Do they need to go wide receiver? Probably not. You got the best in the league. You got KJ Osborne's a good number 2, but maybe he's more of a 3 if you can draft somebody. Who knows? The Vikings have all these holes to fill going into the draft. And Corey, I mean, really, it's a shame there's been no news lately about your team. No big changes that are coming down the pipe or becoming official soon. Do you want to talk about your team, or do you want to just skip right over?
I think somebody got traded a couple hours ago, finally.
It's officially official. Officially?
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers is a Jet.
Wearing number 8. He did not pick 12 out of respect for Joe Namath.
Oh, okay. I was trying to think of who's 12.
Even though Namath gave his blessing for the number, but...
you'd think you'd want to be the only person to wear it, since
But hey,
that's going to look weird.
It's the Jordan Love era now.
With the Jordan Love era beginning, do you have... So, for me, thinking about the Vikings, for the first time in, years, the offensive line isn't the, glowing issue. So that's, one area that I'd be okay if they kind of pass it up. Do you have... where do you think the Packers are totally cool, no need to address it in the draft?
Maybe defensive line, maybe linebacker. But safety, they're going to need help. Corner, I don't think so. Offense, quarterback's done. Running back, done. Offensive line and tight end, I think, are a problem. They need to beef up their offensive line a little bit. I mean, you got Bakhtiari, Jenkins. I forgot our center.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
It's been a while.
What's I'm thinking about all the ones in the past, but I'm not getting any closer. Huh. That's true.
Wow.
So are both Jones and the Thigh Master?
Jones is back. He came back on a cheaper deal. Dylan's in the last year of his contract right now, his rookie deal. But he's in a kind of a make or break ordeal too.
Mm-hmm.
He really didn't do that great last year. He had a couple games where he was good at the goal line, but like the rest of the year, he was not getting anywhere. And that's kind of like the old line's fault. I mean, our center had a lot of problems with blocking.
Well, and Bakhtiari was out like most of the year, wasn't he?
Bakhtiari was out, but he can go to New York with A-Raj. But anyways,
is he gonna?
I don't know. Take that golf cart with him too. Anyways, I mean, you got Zach Tom, who was promising last year at every position that they threw at him. He played a little bit of center. He did all right.
Oh.
I mean, they got to beef up their O-line a little bit. And, like, tight end, all we got right now is, like, DeGuara and Corey Davis. I don't think Big Dog will be back, Mercedes Lewis.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll be back. He'll probably follow Rodgers
He's going to the
New
Jets
York.
too, yeah.
And Tanyan went to the Bears.
Oh. And, fun fact, just this last weekend, Jay Sternberger went off in the XFL? XFL or USFL? He plays for... Oh, he scored like 3 touchdowns. Is the USFL. He plays for the Birmingham Stallions. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Jace Sternberger had a awesome game, both real life and fantasy football, in the USFL playing for the Birmingham Stallions. Perhaps they give him a look in the offseason. No? What happened to him and the Packers?
Well, he got busted for PEDs.
Oh, I missed that storyline apparently.
And then...
That would explain the guns.
Pretty much hurt.
Oh.
His only career highlight for the Packers was catching that touchdown against the 49ers in the NFC Championship game when we were down.
I have streamed Sternberger a time or two in fantasy. To my own chagrin. What picks do the Packers have, and what do you want to see them do with them?
Well, with the trade with the Jets, they got the 13th pick now. Then they got the second round, I think 42nd. So, I don't know, I'd say O-line or tight end. But as the Packers have been in the past, they go defense. So it would not surprise me if they go defense with that pick.
Would it be funny if they went wide receiver now of all times?
Oh my God, that would be a kick. that would be a big F you to Rodgers, I think. Honest to God. Honestly. I mean,
yeah.
All those years.
Parting gift. So, I know it didn't ever really congeal last year, but I feel like the great irony that he's leaving now is that they seem to have a couple of young, really talented wide receivers. Mm-hmm. Are you comfortable going into the year with Watson and Doubs?
Yes. Okay. I think Doubs will have to step it up a little bit, but I think if they go tight end in the first round, they get Michael Mayer or Darnell Washington from Georgia. I think that'll open it up for them, because then they'll just be more focused on Watson half the time. But we'll see.
Is Lazard a Bear now?
He's a Jet.
Oh, yeah, he went first.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Okay.
Yep.
I was like, I know he went somewhere weird.
You know, that had to have been a deal.
And did the Jets sign Hackett, too?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
So, it was, the writing was on the wall right there. It's like, okay, he's going to go. I don't know why it took this long. I mean, the Packers got a haul. Not like a big one, but they got more than what they should have gotten. Jordan sat for 3 years. Mm-hmm. Let's see what the kid can do. I mean,
that was my next question. Yeah. Are you optimistic?
Well, there's going to be growing pains. Mm-hmm. I mean, LaFleur already said he's going to be playing most of the preseason.
Oh.
So he'll probably play the first half of each game. Maybe. We'll see. I doubt the last game. But there's also, like, what are you going to do for a backup?
That's a good
Do you go after a veteran like Flacco or Tannehill? Or...
Kellen Mond.
Knowing LaFleur, he'll probably get a veteran that knows his system. So it'll probably help Jordan. So
I feel for him. Because, I mean, I think he could be a perfectly serviceable quarterback. And people will want his head. Because to follow 30 years of Hall of Fame quarterbacking, anything less than... I mean, he's going to have to be like in the MVP conversation to not have people be upset with him, I think. And that's a lot of pressure. I think it speaks positively that the Packers are okay moving on, you know? If he was atrocious, I feel like they would have fought more for Rodgers.
But I think what's going to happen, though, with Jordan starting now, I think they're just going to start giving the ball to Aaron Jones a lot more.
Oh.
Instead of Rodgers playing hero ball all the time. So we'll see. I think it's going to be a run first. Or RPO. We'll see what happens.
I could see them getting more creative, doing more, getting Jones. He seems like a very talented receiver. And from the outside, I don't watch all the Packer games. I watch a fair amount of them. It seems like they could get him involved more deliberately rather than just kind of incidentally. Saying that as somebody who has rostered him several times in fantasy football, expecting him to have big receiving games. Because when they put him out wide and send him on a route, he looks good. It's not like he's doing his best wide receiver impression. He's doing some genuine wide receiving. And then if Dylan winds up, any chance he holds out, given that he's on the last year of his deal?
No, I don't think so.
No?
No. We'll see. If he does good early on in the season, I could see an extension happening. But we'll see.
You can always go to the Lions. They have record years there after they go. I mean,
Speaking of Detroit, I think they're going to be a scary team next year.
I do. I was going to ask prediction. I mean, early, because this will be fun to look back on. It's, almost mid-April predictions for the division this year.
Well, speak like in the past, people have always said Detroit, and then they falter. So this year, I think it might be different. Goff might be a whole new different quarterback now. I mean, he kind of
had a year in the system.
Yeah. I think it'll be Detroit, maybe Green Bay, Minnesota, second or third. I think that would be a toss-up. I don't trust Chicago. They did not do enough in free agency, I think, to bolster their defense or I don't even think they got a wide receiver. I don't think they signed a wide receiver.
At least not one big enough for us to know. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think Fields is talented, but now he's got Mooney is his only receiver, really, right? I mean, and Tunyon. Tunyon might actually be significant because Cole Kmet is a famously frustrating fantasy player because you can't count on him. Sometimes he'll get 2 touchdowns and 120 yards or 1 target, no catches. So maybe Tunyon is the key to unlocking that offense. But no, I think they lack the most, but I also don't want to write them off because it's, when you have a dual threat like Fields. But the Vikings still have Cousins, Cook right now, Jefferson, KJ Osborne, Hawkinson. Like they still have pieces on offense. Even if they're rebuilding, it feels like a good rebuild. It's sad to see Thielen go, but it's not like when we lost Randy Moss all those years ago or losing Devontae Adams. Like that's when you lose that big piece of your offense. Cousins and Jefferson can make things happen. Hawkinson, I feel like an offseason to bond and grow with the team is only going to make them better. The Lions, I really think are scary. And the Packers, I mean, like we just talked about Watson and Doubs, and you've got Jones. And if Jordan Love is competitive, it's 2 teams going through rebuilds that aren't like a total, we're not the Texans. Like, which I know is a low bar to set. I'm not saying that's like a good thing. I'm just saying like we're not totally hitting the nuke switch and starting over. No pun intended with nuke and the Texans. But it should be an interesting year, and it's one of those years where no matter what they say at the draft, because they could say anything from like they traded up to get a quarterback. If they really think they're going to be done with Cousins after this year, fine. They better go out and get somebody to replace him because he is a good quarterback. I would not be surprised if they did that, nor would I be surprised if they traded down to try to get more picks in like the second and the third to try to fill more of these gaps that have opened up all at once. So while I've done zero prep for the draft, I think that means I'm going to enjoy the draft more than I have in the past because I'm not. It's a wild ride for me. Like everything's open. Do you tune in for it, or are you more of a follow up the next day with what happened?
No. I'll watch the first round, then watch the second and third. But like the 4 through 7, I'm doing other stuff. Yeah. So we'll see what happens with. Well, here's one thing I want to bring up. You know, like Rodgers going to the AFC now, kind of makes me laugh because you got Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, maybe Mac Jones. I think Mac Jones will be better this year now because you got Bill O'Brien coming back, and he was his offensive coordinator at Alabama. So I think that'll be good for him. I think AFC is more quarterback loaded more than the NFC. Just my opinion.
Yeah. No, I mean, well, so the NFC, he's in the NFC East now, with AFC East. Sorry, old habits die hard. Where he's going to play against Josh Allen, he said Mac Jones, and Tua. Probably, maybe.
Well, they signed Mike White. He used to be the Jets backup.
Yeah, okay. So he's gonna offer blood now.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, and I just saw, like, I know Tua is a whole controversy. Like, retire. Is he good or not? I mean, health-wise, yeah.
He should retire.
Yeah, after yeah. But that aside, people argue if he's good or not, like, as a quarterback. And from the numbers that I've seen, I think he is a good quarterback. Like, I think he is talented. But yeah, the health stuff is scary. Anyway, even all that aside, Rodgers went to a division to play against one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the NFL. I'm really curious to see how it goes for them. Because the Jets have a very talented team, not to turn this into like the Jets cast, but all their receiver talent, their running back talent, their defensive talent, like he's going to a competitor, I think, and he can make them, I think he makes them more of a competitor than Zach Wilson pretty comfortably, but he's still going to a division that's really tough.
No more of that drama with him of, he doesn't talk to his family, all these whatever girlfriend he has now that's blue of the earth or whatever. No more of that. Just normalcy again.
That was kind of the Vikings have had a surprisingly long run of not anything that you're tired of hearing about. I mean, I guess Adam Thielen, did you know that he went to school in Mankato and he's from Detroit Lakes, Minnesota, and he's started in the practice squad? You've heard that one? Mm-hmm. Yeah, but okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That one got a little tired, but the Vikings have had this really nice run of not having any, there's a lot of questions like how can they keep winning these games, and Kirk had the chains and that was fun, but it's not like a thing you can't escape where you can't get people to stop talking about that one player. And I know like a lot of people who just follow football in general have this relief that he has signed with another team because it's just been a thing for 2 or 3 years now. Is he going to get traded? Is he going to retire? Is he going to go do Jeopardy? Is he going to, it's been for years. And now that's over. And I feel especially for Packer fans, like now you guys can like, hey, how's the team? Like it's not how's the quarterback. It's everybody else. Can Watson and Doubs make that leap? Can Jones bounce back? Like, can the defense rebuild? There's the rest of the team to consider.
Or can our linebacker stop touching officials on other teams? Quay Walker, good guy. Doing that twice in 1 year, dude, you got a lot of growing up to do.
I'll finish with this. Do you have if they leave the draft with this player, I'll be happy?
I'd say if they get Darnell Washington from Georgia, I'd be happy.
But, and for the people at home, what position does he play?
Tight end.
Tight end? Okay.
Yeah.
It's a weird offseason for me because despite it being a rebuild, despite seeing, Eric Kendricks was one of my favorites. Seeing him go sucks, but it's not, I thought after last year the Vikings were going to miss their window to rebuild, but it seems like they can still rebuild this year and be okay. I don't know. I'm so excited. And I don't have that one guy. Like, I think it would kind of be fun if, like, the Vikings took Hendon Hooker or whatever at 24, or they think they could trade back, or
23. What about, like, Will Levis?
It's so tough for me to get, like, gung-ho for a guy because, like, there's as many busts as there are success stories, or probably more busts than there are success stories. But, like, I think it would be totally fine if they went for a quarterback. I think I would like to keep, I mean, honestly, I think the Vikings fans are wishing away good, dependable quarterback play. Clutch quarterback play last year. I think we're wishing it away too fast, but if, like, he doesn't want to sign for the right number, I think they should have a plan in place before it's desperate. Like, they should make moves before they're the Jets, you know? Don't wind up where you've got all these, you know, players already into their contracts and then sign a quarterback to try to make use of that first year. Like, I want them to, I would be totally okay with them making a move before they need to make a move. Where that happens, I would also be okay with it. Usually, I go nuts when they trade back out of the first round, but if they want to this year to try to, you know, they don't have a lot of picks and they have a lot of spaces to fill. If they wanted to trade back to amass more, I wouldn't want them to do the whole, you know, you trade a second round pick for a third, fourth, and fifth, but if you trade your first to get later in the second or another couple in the third, I'd be okay with almost anything. I know that's not like a lot of great analysis, but it's how I feel, and it's my YouTube channel. Corey, thank you for joining me.
Yeah,
It's good to have you back.
Good to be back.
Oh, I forgot. I don't know how to work it back in now. I was going to point out that we were live at the draft because my plan is to use it background, but I already did the whole intro. Let's, I'll figure it out. I'll fix it in post.
Goodell, you suck.
There you
Anyways,
go. We should boo. Boo.
you don't need all that money, man.
The draft is this weekend, and that means that it's only just a few short weeks till OTAs, mini camp, training camp, and then before you know it, the new season will be upon us. We'll be back, I would imagine, in the preseason, if not week one. Week one, if not the preseason. Whichever way. Until then, have a great summer. Thank you all so much for listening. Skull feeleth there.
Go back, go.
And go Vikings.